Hey everybody, I'm David with Bolivar Live, and we've traveled around a little bit, and now we're at Fort Travis, and this is one of those Texas history.
Texas history. It's my favorite thing.
We get a lot of people in to the tourism center that says, man, what's there to do on Bolivar? And this is the first place I send them. I tell them, I said, you know, you've got to go to Fort Travis, and we'll show them on the map. And then I said, you can go down and take a picture in front of the lighthouse, and then go towards the ferry and go around Frenchtown Road, and you can see the bay and all that there. And then I bring them back up, you know, and head back up towards High Island is a second day. And so
it's true. It is true. You can spend a lot of time here.
Oh yeah, you can spend 3 or 4 or 5 hours
even when
here.
It's hot. I've been here when it's dead of summer, hot, but it's still
the wind's always
the wind. There's always a breeze, and there's just it's so peaceful.
You know, this is in the top 10 places voted to fly a kite because there's always a breeze.
I believe it.
And so
much open space, unobstructed, beautiful.
But the view, we've got tankers anchored. We
don't have our
cargo
view in our film right now, do we?
There's a cruise ship over here. We're working on getting the camera back up here. We had to pull it down and use it somewhere, and so I'm in the process. We've replaced some of the parts, and so hopefully in the next 30 days we've got this camera up, and it's a 360 camera, but it's just the Texas history.
It's amazing.
So what have you learned that really caught you by surprise?
So there was actually a different fort that was built in 1836.
Okay.
And it was Fort Point.
Okay.
And then they moved it in 1898 over here to Bolivar Peninsula because we need to protect that. We keep forgetting how important that port was in our history.
One of the other shows, it was number 2 to New York.
Yeah.
And people always think about New York bringing in people.
I think especially if you live down here, you get so used to that, and you see the cruise ships, and we see the barges go through, but we don't even think about
the history.
The history, and it was so important to the entire United States economy. Like we banked on stuff coming in and out of that port, and so of course they had to protect it.
Right.
And so, you know, it got its name after a commander from the Republic Army, from the War of the Republic, right? So, and William Travis was his name, and that's how it got named. And then they used it through both. So, 1900 storm, it does house a lot of people, saved a lot of lives. And then they used it through World War I and World War II. At the end of World War II, in the end of the 1940s, they decommissioned it because they found it was just not necessary anymore.
Right.
They didn't really have to use it the way they thought. And unfortunately, we knew that the scope of war had changed at that point. So they did change it. It was auctioned off to a private company, but it was stipulated that it could still had to be used to house people in storms, which I don't know if you knew that. So
I'd heard that, and I know
it was stipulated in the sale.
I know whenever
they had to be able to let people come in.
I know that whenever we have storms, the fire department, like Port Bolivar, I believe they park a lot of their equipment up here, or some of their equipment here. The county probably park some of theirs.
Well, the county ended up probably. So it wasn't until 1973 when the county commissioner actually took it back and dedicated it as a park.
Okay.
And so now it is a county park.
And if y'all haven't been up here, the Parks Department and William Como's over here, and then Travis and his crew take care of the park. But the only time I've seen this park not in immaculate shape is when we're on a 3-week rain binge and they can't mow, because that's one thing they take pride in over here. And we've got covered picnic areas with barbecue pits. We've got a pavilion. We've got Army bunkers with
got a little playground.
Plaques.
I was trying to think where the playground was. Where we were standing. There's the playground.
A new playground
fantastic.
Is just built in the next year.
And you have a lot of concrete area, so you can do some. If you're a concrete runner.
Yes.
You know, if you're coming from Dallas or Houston and you're used to running on the concrete, you've got plenty of concrete here to run.
Well, and they've got a red brick road. I'm going to call it the red brick road all the way around. And this is the same elevation, if I'm not mistaken, as the seawall.
Yes, 17 feet. It is 17 feet. They built
and
it up.
So you can see what it does up here, but the red brick road goes about halfway or 3/4 of the way around and makes it, I see a lot of people. I was up here on the full moon the other night, and there were people up here walking when I was getting set up with the cameras and stuff. So
it really is. And it's just beautiful. Again, just very peaceful. And we love, I think people come to the beach because they're searching for that little minute
Piece of heaven.
peace. Yes, and here it is, and it's just gorgeous.
Yep.
So, another thing to do that
One
you
more
think is
thing
going
to
to
do.
be like a 5-minute trip, but it ends up being.
Oh, it's
You can get lost here.
hours.
Bring a book.
I
Bring a
see
book,
people
bring something
picnicking
to
out
yes.
here, having
Yes.
picnics out here. So
It is gorgeous.
if you're looking for a day trip, and we have done a show in the Bolivar Live day trips and things to do, we talk about the Fort Travis and give some aerial views, but make sure you come down, enjoy the Fort Travis, maybe look at some of the homes with Beth,
Absolutely.
enjoy a fresh seafood dinner at one of our family-owned restaurants, walk the beach, look for shark's teeth. My gosh, you
Great
could spend a
shells.
lifetime down here.
I
So,
do.
yes. So, well, we're going to head on out. We just wanted to show you just a little bit of what you can do when you own a home here on Bolivar Peninsula. Until next time, I'm David with Bolivar Live with Beth Appleby. Y'all have a great day, great week. Come see us. God bless, and bye-bye. Video equipment is sponsored by Crystal Beach Decor and More, located at 1959 Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas, and Beachy Beatnik Boutique and Jewelry, located at 970 Surfside and Highway 87 in Crystal Beach, Texas. Thank you to these two businesses for being our 2025 video equipment sponsor for Bolivar Live. 60 camera, but it's just a Texas history. So what have you learned that really caught you by
So there was
surprise?
actually a different fort that was built in 1866.
Okay.
And it was Fort Point.
Okay.
And then they moved it in 1898 over here to
Okay.
Bolivar Peninsula because they needed to protect. But we keep forgetting